So now we're gonna go to the part of the online discussions where I would have each of the players or the actors and actresses to give their opinions, and then if there's any questions from our viewers, you can just write them in the chat. If you like to join us to Zoom, you can also write in the chat and I'll give you the link. It's okay, you can join also. So let's start with, I'm looking at my screen, so I'm gonna go with Erik Lasmono first. Give your opinion about this play just for a couple of minutes.
All right, thank you. So, this play, I'm looking at it as the reality, how it happens, and how people react, and I think it's just natural because I think the Laramie people are not really used to that kind of thing happening where probably like a murder based on the with the base of being different, being being different by sexual orientation. So I think this is something new for them as well because I think it's a more into hush hush thing for them about the gay, the lesbian, and community members, LGBTQ member. But I think it is some sort of wake up call for them as well, that to see that this is the reality. Like people, uh, I mean LGBTQ members can come from any walk of life, any parts of their community. Doesn't have to be someone from outer of their community. So I think it's some sort of somehow the ripples in their daily life, which is quite controversial. I think considering how the reaction of the some people, but I think it's still good when that happens because it makes people learn. Yeah, so that's how I feel about it.
Okay, thank you, Erik. Let's move on my screen to Indira.
You know, having read this script for like a month, more or less, I kept going back and trying to figure out so what actually happened. I mean, I haven't really checked the actual reports, or yeah, because I think McKinney said that he beat it he beat Matthew up because Matthew went after his genitals, right? Can I just say, if I have the right to beat up, or if I ever feel like I have the right to beat up anybody who went after that my genital or any of my private parts that badly, we're gonna have a lot of violence everywhere. Because yeah, I mean, as a woman, that happens a lot. Can I just say that's so unfair? So yeah, that's the thing that actually really caught me, and like, really. And also the fact that they actually pretended to be gay, right? I think one of the girlfriends said that yeah, they're going to pretend that they are gay so that they can take Matthew for a ride in order to steal from him. So that means, yeah, can I just say they were asking for it? They were like, okay, so you're mad because he went after your genitals after you pretended to be gay? Yeah, and then you said that you don't go after straight people. Yeah, you're not supposed to go after straight people, but then again, you pretended to be gay, and then he went after your genitals. Yeah, you get what I'm saying here? It's like, oh, that's a lot of BS.
Okay, thank you, Indira. Next, we'll have Lucy Thompson. I guess.
I forgot to change my name. For me, what's interesting about this play is because this play is supposedly a documentary kind of. It's not like like a storytelling sort of thing. It's more like an interview kind of thing. So I always thought, how do you perform a play that is supposed to be a documentary without changing the meanings of the text, because you don't really know what the actual person is trying to say, for me at least. So all we can do is just, guess, I guess. Like we can't really, with fictional characters, we can sort of make it our own, but with these characters, I feel like there's a certain limit to that. So I feel that's very interesting for me. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Thank you. So next we have our guest all the way from the other side of the sea, Xuefen.
Okay, I thought I wasn't the furthest, so I started with well, anyway, yeah, I mean, so I said, like, when I read the script or when I watched the movie version of the Laramie project, then I was like, I cried buckets and all that. My nose got blocked and everything. So I had a huge, like, emotional allergy. Then, so, yeah, I thought that it was a great play for people to have empathy for people who might be different, especially minorities and all kinds of minorities, like in Singapore recently with all the pandemic things, there was actually a lot of talk about casual racism, and it's kind of like in the play as well, they talked about homosexuality and how the Laramie people say, like, oh, live and let live, but actually there is a kind of underlying casual discrimination also of people like that. So I thought there was a link, like this play is still relevant 20 over years later, and it's really about empathy and understanding people who are different. Yeah, my take on it.
Okay, thank you. And next we have also from a different continent, Soraya.
Okay. I first read this play, I think when I was in end of high school. So like 2000, like soon after it was published. It was published 2001, I think. They first performed it 2000. And it enraged me. And then rereading it again, I basically, it's upsetting. It's upsetting because this is happening in a town where people know better. You can see the different perspectives, and like you don't understand why this is happening in the 2000s. But as Xuefen just said, it happens now, and it's 2021. It's still happening. We're still discriminating, and LGBTQ is still a hugely discriminated minority everywhere. And this is set in a small town, or they say it's a small town, but it's a university town. But it's happening in big cosmopolitan cities everywhere. And it's just not acceptable. I don't think it's an acceptable thing. As to the play itself, it's interesting that the perspectives of people, what we see is we don't really focus on the people who we traditionally view as the most affected, i.e. the victims, the family of the victims, the perpetrators, and the family of the perpetrators. In one way, I think it's good. We don't focus so much on the perpetrators, but it's a little bit weird seeing the perspectives of people who were involved in the trial and the weird things that they say, like just the random things that they say. But also it's true that when a crime happens, it does have ripples throughout the community, and we don't see it usually in a typical play. We only focus on the victims' families. We only focus on the perpetrators' families. Sometimes we focus on the police or authorities, but that's about it.
Okay, thank you, Soraya. Next we have Michael A. He's our most famous one here, yeah.
No. Well, anyway, when I read the script, and it was Wyoming, I had a friend from Wyoming. I mean, he told me about Wyoming. It's a big land, with uh, little population in it, and I didn't really, I was kind of like surprised because this happened in Wyoming. Um, I mean, I knew this before. I would ask him, a lot about this Laramie thing, But I was looking at Matthew's part, Matthew's actually played really big part in this story, but he was actually not, you know, uh, there's no character about Matthew. But I don't know. I don't think that he meant to sacrifice himself, or he is the sacrifice for this. But this event, happened. Matthew death happened to actually help to open, the people's eye or people's opinion or perspective about the gay community or their ways of living. If this never happened, maybe it won't get exposed. Maybe people won't see it. Maybe people won't pay attention to it. But just like revolution, maybe Matthew is part of the history. This had become history for people to see maybe different perspective. Just let them live like the way they want to live. Why do you even care about how they want to live? Do you know what is right and not? So I was just take a look at Matthew's part, and I think he's kind of like part of very important. If people begin to accept or begin to see the life of gay community, or that's my opinion.
Okay, thank you, Michael. And then the next one is from our very own Jacqy Chan. Please.
Okay. Well, guys. Okay. Well, when I first when Heriska first offered me this play and asked me to check it out, I was like, oh, what is this? I thought it's just like a unique play, and then it turns out it's like a real story. And it really sucks that these things keep happening. It's been happening and it still happens, and even until now. And I really hope that people will be more like open-minded and not discriminate people. Sorry, I was like super cold right now. And I don't think I'd like this to. Oh, I was like, Indira, you're distracting me. But yeah, I really I know that this is like one of the huge story that huge event that happened back in America, and it like changed the scene or something. I don't know what the term is, but I'm really glad that at least now there are more people who are fighting for like the people who are like in the minorities, and really hope that one day we will be able to live in like a just let other people live, let and let live, just like what the people said. And as for the playing the characters, I was like, this is a very unique thing. I've never do this kind of like a reading before. Usually I just read for like one character, but now I have to play like I don't know how many characters, and this is a really interesting opportunity. And I totally forgot to read my line for like one character in the beginning. It was not my character, but so yeah, technically not my fault. Ijo desu. Hi.
Okay, thank you, Jacqy. I guess I'll be the last one. So I actually didn't read this until I saw the Laramie Project movie on HBO, and I'm actually more of a movie watcher than a play reader. So when I first saw this, I was actually got really interesting because I knew about the story, but not too much. And I thought like, oh, wow, they made a movie about this. Okay, this is cool. And they made it into I guess I thought it was a mockumentary style, but not really mock because it's a documentary. And they use all these famous actors. You got Christina Ricci, you got Joshua Jackson, and then you got Linny, I don't know, Laurie something, but you got all these famous people. And then I saw the credit and it's like, oh, it's based on a play. And then I decided to buy it. And then I read play, and it was so much more different and so much more information. And you realize that this is not really a play. This is a compilation of different interviews that these theater people did. They have this interviewing people and they use excerpts, they use dialogue. So this was not like somebody wrote this play. They use actual dialogues from people. So when they performed this, they were performing actual characters. And this play is not, even though we're telling the story of Matthew Shepard, we're telling the story of what happened, but it's actually telling the story of the town Laramie, Wyoming, what happened to the town from this one incident. And you get to see from different point of views. You get to see from that. Yes, everyone will pick a side, everyone will pick that, but I don't think the point of the play was to show like who's right or who's wrong. They wanted to show the people, the town itself, the characters, and that is very interesting. And this is not something that people knows about. Like if people talk about the Laramie project or what happened, I don't think people knows about it too much. It's not like widely known so much. And I think it's just something that people should know. This happened in 98. And I'm sorry to say it's about 23 years. No, yeah, 23 years. I don't think things changed much so far anywhere. And this happened. This is known, but I don't think it changes much anywhere. So I love the play. I love what is written, and I'm so glad we did it. Whoever's watching it, thank you so much for watching it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is a stage reading. It's not something that we put up on a stage. I don't know if we can ever put this up in here in Indonesia on a stage, talk about this publicly in front of everyone. I don't know if that can be done, but maybe somebody out there who's brave enough, who knows a lot about the incident and knows about the Laramie towns, if they're brave enough to do this, I would love to see it. So time for some Q&A. And we have one question so far from one of our co-founder of the Golden Pickle Productions. And she asked, is it exhausted to put up the Laramie reading? Because the play is quite interesting and not easy to pull off.
Emotionally, it's exhausting. No. Yeah. It's emotionally hard to do.
It's not easy because again, this is not a fiction play where if we messed up representing someone or situation, it's like, it's a work of fiction, whatever, but we're playing real characters. What happened to them? We have to be careful, and we have this tendency where we hear like, oh, somebody is from this part of the town, and we use an accent, we kind of like mock them. Like, we don't want to do that. We want to be as sincere as possible because this is a real person and these are real people. So it is kind of taxing. And I told everyone who did this that they'll be playing about 20 characters. So I warned them way in advance that you're not playing one person, you're playing 20 characters. And I give them the play first, and they have to decide after reading it, do you want to do it or not? Because it's not easy. And some people that I gave to rejected it because they thought it was too hard. And I am okay with that. Any others want to chime in? Was it hard for you guys to do it?
It was hard to like change the name and remember who am I? And there are like 2 Aarons, right? And there are 2 Aarons, like which Aaron am I? And it was but it was really, really fun. And this is like really new. I usually play like more Labay characters, I think. Yeah, more dramatic characters, like the cutesy line. So yeah, like Indira just did. Yeah. So it's like really fun playing as a grandma. Mostly.
Okay. Anyone else want to chime in? How exhausting you guys doing this? Yes, Michael.
Okay, it's not only just the story, but actually, the way we do it, with online, we have some difficulties with Wi-Fi, we have different quality of camera. I mean, we did a online performance with Indira and Heriska, and it's been challenging, but this time of year, because of the pandemic and stuff, I mean, it's fun to do online things like this, to keep us busy, to keep us doing what we like, But actually, I was hoping that we could do something, maybe more fun, like, like a musical or or like a funny story. That will be fun. I mean, yeah, this one is very challenging. I mean,
Okay.
it's new for me. Yeah, it's new for all of us, playing multiple characters, and the challenge are different. We have to prepare our gears and stuff, camera, Wi-Fi, and things. But yeah, I hope that we keep doing things like this. Yeah.
Well, if James McAvoy can play 27 characters, I think we can all do it, right? Anyone else wants to chime in for this? Okay, if not, we're going to go to the next question is Laramie versus religions. How do you see that? Like, is it attacking judgment, etc., or else? God, when it comes to religions, when it comes to homosexuals, you know what? Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has a belief. I can't say like, you have to believe this, you have to believe that. But in a sense, like the movie Prom, it's always that one of my favorite song is just love thy neighbors. Just accept everyone. If you don't believe it, so what? It's not your problem unless it affects your family somehow. It affects you that somehow these people are attacking you. Then maybe it's not their sexuality. Maybe because they're attacking you, that's the problem. So that's okay. That's a different thing. But I'll let them do whatever they want. As in my opinion, doesn't bother me. So it's not to do with the religion. I think it's just the people. Just let them whatever they want. Love thy neighbor. Others?
This is a documentary of people's quotes, right?
Yeah.
So a certain part of editing does change how you present it, but this is what people think and said back then. We don't know if we go back and re-interview some of the people that said some of the stuff. We don't know whether or not they still feel the same, or maybe after 23 years they're suddenly like, oh, turns out I don't really mind gays that much, or like, oh yeah, we don't know yet. But that was what they felt back then. Even Jedediah, I think Jedediah's part said he regretted a year later what he said, right? So yeah, we're humans. We do that. We change our minds. It's like sushi. You don't like it until you actually had it, and that's some people still don't like it. Some people love it. Yeah, that's one thing. And I don't think it's just about religion or prejudice. Or maybe it's about prejudice. It's not just about religion, but it's also about I think it was Rulon's part where he said, I disagree with homosexuality, but then he empathized when he realized this is happening. Yeah, nobody deserves this. Yeah, it's not attacking. It's just like that's how people are back then. I don't think that's just how it is.
Okay.
Well, can I say something? One of the characters interviewed still has that opinion. He was a fully grown adult at the time, and he's still a fully grown adult now. He hasn't grown. His name is Reverend Fred Phillips. He is a horrible man, and I will say this, he's horrible. But like it's very hateful, and there's still people who are very hateful. I think for me, the worrisome part is that there are very hateful people who are so convinced that their hatred is the correct way that they become influential and destructive. And even if you're influential in only your small community, I think should be well aware of the consequences of your dialogue and your rhetoric. You can have beliefs all you want, and I think all of us have our own beliefs, but part of the belief is, is this going to be injurious to someone else? And what happens if someone else feels the opposite and they feel as strongly opposite wise and attacks me? Like, then it should be accepted that I mean, it shouldn't be accepted, but in their twisted thinking, then it should be accepted. It's bizarre, and I don't know. I just find it unacceptable to be this hateful.
Okay, thank you, Soraya. Anyone else chiming in? Yes, Michael.
Okay, as a Christian, and I used to come up in, especially if you come from, old and conservative Christians, you may see that a lot of people will, judge. They will say, okay, this is not right. This is not like according to the religion. But as we see now, it's not about. Sometimes it's not about religion, what right or wrong, but it's about humanity. You may have your, beliefs. You may believe in what you believe, but it always comes back to humanity. And sometimes it's really hard to put religion and this, but for me, if you believe, then you believe. You just don't judge. If you believe what you believe, then you go with it. You don't judge people based on your belief, and your religion, but if you believe things, just keep it for yourself. I think I just want to say that.
Okay. Anyone else want to chime in? Okay, so I have a question. I want to hear what you guys think. I think it was the whole Twinkie defense, right, where Aaron McKinney said that he attacked because he felt he was being hit on. He doesn't like being hit on and blah, blah, blah. And that's why he deserves to attack and I guess kill him or whatever, because he doesn't like being hit on. He doesn't like the gays doing that to him. And I hear people say this so many times all the time. Oh, I don't like the gays or whatever, because I don't like it when they try to hit on you and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, these straight men, they go around just, they catcall girls, they hit on girls randomly, and they seem to be okay with it. But yet when that happens to them, they're like, oh God, disgusting, blah, 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 blah. And they say like, oh, every gay person are hitting on them. Like, not really. You're not that good looking. I'm sorry. Not every man are fuckable, by the gays. I'm sorry. There's a standard. So what do you guys think? Like, is this something like just kind of weird? Like, or is it justifiable in a way? Because people say it all the time.
I think
You
it's
first,
just
please.
excuses.
Yes, go ahead, Erik.
Sorry. Yanni first.
Oh, okay.
No, I just want to say that I think it's just an excuse. It's not really a reason. It's just an excuse.
Okay, Erik.
I just want to keep it short and sweet. Fragile straight people are afraid that the gays will treat them like they treat the women.
No. Okay, yes, that's true. But I see that there's an underlying issue here. The thing is, they were led to believe their whole life that they are allowed to do that to women, and they also believe that they shouldn't be treated like that by everybody else. So and also but based on the script, based on the interview, we know about their backgrounds, and I don't want to sound classist or but yeah, they didn't know better. And even though everybody said that in Laramie we live and let live, we have one of the most vocal gay population, etc. Some of the people interviewed sounded really progressive or live and let live and whatever. Apparently these two men, they also grew up with the wrong influence. And I mean, it's sad, yes, and of course it's double standard, yes, we know, but the underlying issue here is like they grew up thinking that it's fine for me to grab women's personal body parts but no dude should ever do that to me. That's a a deeper issue.
Mm.
Somebody else, yeah, somebody let them. So
Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to chime in on my weird question? Well, not weird, really. Okay, next is from our co-founder again. She would like everyone to give their opinion on the importance of the story of Laramie project. Okay, I'll add to it. And who is your favorite person or character in that story? Who would like to start first? You know what? I'll go backward. Let's start with our Jacqy Chan.
I like Marge.
You like Marge, and how can you give your opinions on the importance of the story?
Um, I don't know what else to say except that this is really important and I wish like people know more because this is like a reality and it's like a very well written one, like a documentary style, and there's also like the movie, right? And yeah, so I think it's really important because if more people know about this and they know that this is actually happened, then maybe people will be like care more or try to like stop and think that are we real do people, should we really do this, should we really treat people like this, something like that.
Okay, thank you, Jacqy. Now to Michael.
I don't know, but I feel like I like all the characters were given to me. I don't know why, or maybe I didn't really pay attention to other characters. But first, it's been my dream to play a detective, and I got it.
Okay.
But I actually really like Roland Stacy, the CEO of the hospital. As he also said that he might not agree. I mean, he did not agree with gay and this kind of thing. But when this happened, we got to put up our humanity part of our life. So I think what is that I like about him is that the tolerance. It's sometimes it's not. You don't choose to be straight or gay or what, but when it happens, just live and let live, let them be whatever they want. I think that the importance of this story is that don't let like an incident like this happens for you just to see what is going on in your community, so don't let just one person died and then this kind of thing and then blew up, and then you kind of like starting to realize and starting mind your own business and let them live their own life. So I think the thing is that you may have your belief, but at last it's all about humanity and kindness. I think that's
Okay, thank you, Michael. Next is Soraya. Please unmute yourself. This is not Tommy and Gina. You're still muted. Jeez.
Sorry. So after a year and a half, I still don't know how to use Zoom. Sorry. I think this play is incredibly important because it's still very, very relevant today. There's still hate crimes against LGBTQ community members all around the world, and in not just in small towns, they're happening in big cities, like I said before, and I think it's unacceptable. And it doesn't matter because there are people who don't profess a faith and are still homophobic. So it's definitely, I don't know, it's a societal issue. It's definitely an issue of like, I mean, there are so many sociological reasons why people are in particular homophobic, but it's not really an excuse because it's 2021. We put a man on the moon in 1960. So, so it's very relevant. We still haven't progressed as a society. And human rights is still only human rights for some parts of our world, and and the same people who think that they have a right to do and say certain things think that it's their right to ensure that other people don't have those same full 100% rights, and that's not acceptable. That's something that we have to work on together. If theater is one way that we can do it, that is great, and I would love to be a part of that. My favorite character, I think she's not my character, she's Indira's. I love Romaine Patterson. I think she's this 21-year-old little lesbian is prepared to toe the line with him. You know, she's a real human being, and she went toe to toe with one of the largest, loudest, and most known bigots, who has actually quite a following, the Westboro Baptist Church leadership. And also a Jedediah Schultz, because he showed growth throughout the course of the play. In the play, there was growth to his character. Also not my character, but what can you do?
Okay. Thank you. And Xuefen?
Oh, but I liked your portrayals of Dr. O'Connor and all those Matt Galloway. Well, I like all the characters who had a lot of empathy, and I think even like Dr. Cantway, who first treated Matt Shepard, and he was like, and he had compassion for both the Matt Shepard as well as Aaron McKinney, and like Aaron Krefels, who found Matt, like there were underlying tones of like maybe he was also taught that homosexuality is like maybe not right, the like lifestyle thing, but he saw Matt as a human first and foremost. So I like that kind of empathy in all those people, and yeah, I think that maybe those people who felt like they are against the lifestyle, so-called, they probably don't really know anybody properly who are gay. And I mean, if you look at society, if you look at my parents, maybe 20 years ago, and then you talk about gays, they will be like, oh, that's a terrible thing. That's so terrible. Like, how can you live life like that? But they probably now they still probably can't really accept it, but they know more people who are like that now. And we have family and friends who are homosexuals, and so maybe being more exposed, they are more accepting now. And because there are people that we love as well who are homosexual, so although they couldn't understand, they try, and then now I think it's better. And I think the younger generation, because they are more exposed, then I think generally the younger generation is quite okay in Singapore about this. Generally, I can't speak for everyone.
Okay, thank you, Xuefen. Yanni?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's important in that it's exposure to people, like because like even gay marriage was legalized like a couple of years ago in, where was it, Taiwan or somewhere, and then people were like up in arms about it. And I think progress is being made, so, but like it's kind of slow, but hopefully with projects like this it will get better. With characters, I don't really have a favorite.
News person.
Maybe Aaron Kreifels, the kid who found Matthew, because at first I felt like, oh, poor kid, he's just biking, having fun, and then suddenly he's like found a dead body or something. So, and then at the end he was like why me? Why did I have to find this dead body? But and then in the end he said something like what was it like, I found him so he didn't have to be alone to die. So I think that was, for me, that was very like meaningful.
Okay, thank you, Yanni. Indira?
Do I think it's important? It has the potential to be important, more important than it is if we manage to show it to more people. Because you know what? The people who are actually watching this right now, or the people who have watched this, or the people who would, actually, consciously choose to watch this you're basically just preaching to the choir. The people who need to watch this aren't watching this. We need to get this story, this play, or other plays and stories like this farther. Yeah, because we need to start discussions. It's not about conversion or like no. Let's just start the discussion first. This is it's one thing to be against the lifestyle. It's another to beat someone up and leave them to die.
Fill their shoes.
Okay, so that's the thing. Yeah, important, yes, but more people should use this. Should see this. Favorite characters? For me, yes, Romaine Patterson is my favorite character, but I also like Dennis Shepard's monologue, Erik, Hatip. Also, Zubaida Ula. I think that's also Hatip, Jacqy, for that rendition, last minute rendition. Shreya, where are you? And those that's also strong words. What she said was strong words. The HOPE, hope, I like that part. And also also like Matt Galloway. And I place myself in Matt Galloway's shoes. I like I'm following this story from his. For me, yeah, that's how I follow. Like, yeah. So those are my characters. I can't choose one. We have so many to choose from.
There's 80 characters.
Yes, or maybe that's the anonymous email writer.
Okay, thank you, Erik.
Okay, thank you. So the importance of this play. Now, the reality of living in Indonesia, where some people at the government body or upper level trying to criminalize LGBTQ members, and they're trying to put us in jail. So yes, this needs to be discussed. I mean, the reality of living in Indonesia is to have people treat us like human, and also to get the same freedom like anyone else get, and not to be discriminated just by the fact of religion, race, sexual orientation, and culture or whatever. And so yeah, so I think this is a start of a discussion, I think, and I think more people need to see the story, not necessarily our performance, but I think the story itself need to be performed to a larger audience. And also my favorite character is Matt Galloway, and also Soraya's rendition on him, because he's precise, matter of fact, and no bullshitting, and it's just really intelligent. And also, if it's my own character, probably Stephen Mead Johnson, because he's the Unitarian Church minister, and I like how humane he is, how he's open-minded on people. He realized how people could be either on the left side or the right side of the table, and that's how it is. So he's just trying to he can adapt himself to the situation. So I actually kind of admire Stephen on that part.
Okay, thank you, Erik. And from me, the importance of the story is the story itself is important so that people know. Like, I think people should learn, whether you agree or not. that's not the point, but you should learn the story. And I agree with Erik, I agree with Indira that people should know more about this. But unfortunately, people that do watch it are already the one that agrees to it, and one that doesn't agree to it, they probably don't watch this kind of things, or they don't want to watch this kind of things when they read the synopsis that Xuefen wrote, or they are too ignorant or not educated enough to watch theater. Maybe if we put it on the soap opera or Sinetron, maybe they'll watch it. They're like, oh, what is this? The Laramie Project Sinetron edition. We'll call it the Gaya Nusantara Project.
No, it's not gonna be under Gaya Nusantara. Maybe like Prahara Laramie.
Sure. And yeah, it's very important. I think everyone should know about it. But if you want to make people be aware of what's these kind of people exist, make them watch a lot of Thai movies and TV shows. They exist. Oh God, they exist, and they're open about it. They use it for comedy purposes, for drama purposes. It's perfect. And I watch a lot of those Thai movies, and sometimes they just shove it to your face. I'm like, oh, okay, but they don't do it in a bad way. They do it in a they're just regular people who just happens to be this way, and they are good.
Part
and
of
they're
life. It's just a part of life. Yeah.
Mhm.
They're
And
portrayed as human.
Yes, they're portrayed. I mean, even in horror movies, oh God, one of my favorite one is Pinok, and this is about two gay people. This has to be a monk as part of their religion in Thai, and I'm like, okay, that's just interesting. My favorite characters are number one. I love the narrator. I know it's not a character, but he is a character in the sense that he tells the story of what's happening. He tells what's going on, and I like the narrator in here. My other favorite is Andrew Gomez. I love Andrew Gomez. I would love to have done him, but I think Soraya did a great job. And even though he says one dialogue, but he just explains it all. He's like, I'm a dude in jail. I do criminal things, and I don't like this person that kills a gay guy. It's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, even with criminals, there are things that you just don't do. You're like, no, you don't do that. Like, why kill a gay guy when, as he said, you're gonna be gay in there too? Because yeah, they're gonna do things to you that you probably don't like, and you can't do nothing about it. So I like Andrew Gomez. It was just very real about it. And this is a bit controversial, but one of my favorite characters also Aaron McKinney. And the reason why I like Aaron McKinney is because he was honest about what he did. He opened up everything what he did. Whether he feels remorse about it or not, it was that wasn't the point, but he was honest about it, and he did it. He admitted it. He didn't go no, not guilty. I did it out of self-defense, whatever. No, he was honest about it. And maybe we can learn from him, why he did this, what he did, what he didn't, why he did all this, like what was going through his head. But the one thing that I thought was kind of interesting was at the end, when he had a little bit of remorse, was because he actually remembered about his son. Like, he'll never see his son again. Well, not only that, your son will know what you did, and maybe hopefully his son becomes a better person. I never looked him up. I don't know if his son is still alive or is doing well or whatnot, but I hope his son is a better person of what the father did. And Aaron, maybe he changed in jail. We're not sure, but maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But hopefully we learned something from this. And it says, no matter how brief it is, this is a very important character, and I thought it was something that we should learn. And my other favorite character is Father Roger Smith, portrayed by Michael, and he did a great job with it. And again, Father Roger Smith, very honest. He opens up. He's one of the first person that says, yo, if you call people a fag, a dyke, or whatever, that is violence. That's just straight up violence. That's already bad. Like, this was in 1998 where people still say it like regularly as if something normal to say. I think only since 2015 or something, where we go like, maybe we shouldn't say it again. Like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have said it in the first place. But Father Roger Smith very open up, even though he's a religious person, obviously, because he's a father. he accepted, and he's willing to do the vigil for Matthew separate when no one else would do it. Probably like, I don't think so. I don't believe in it, and he probably shouldn't do it. So yeah, that's my 3 favorite characters, 4 actually, including the narrator, Andrew Gomez, Aaron McKinney, and Father Roger Smith. So we have about 9 minutes left. I don't.
Can I backtrack a little bit?
Yes,
Like,
you may
just now
backtrack.
you're talking about Thai
Who?
dramas, right? So
Oh, okay.
and then we were talking about religion earlier. I thought it was really interesting that you picked Thai movies, because I wonder if it's because of a lot of them are Buddhists. Because for Buddhists, because there was a discussion some time back about homosexuality. I think when we had the Pink Dot event in Singapore, which is also is a pride thing, and there was a person who was a Buddhist who explained his thoughts on it. I'm not sure whether it is widespread in Buddhism, but basically they don't actually there's nothing that says anything wrong about homosexuality. Yeah. And
I'm a Buddhist, and I yeah, it's true.
yeah, so I think probably I'm thinking maybe Hinduism as well. They don't, there is nothing on it, and they have no objection to it, and I don't know whether it's because of that Thailand, they are also open about it. I don't know. Yeah, but food for thought.
That is interesting. Yeah, Soraya, are you a Hindu or a Buddhist?
I am neither. I'm neither of those two, but I don't know. In this, I think it's really interesting that said. But I think also one of the most important things is what Erik said regarding, we have people, leaders in political power, who, and as much as we can say, unless you live in a religious in a country that is governed by a religious authority, of which there are very few actually on this planet. Religion is sort of secondary or sort of to the side as to the views of the political leadership. And without that political leadership from the top, or of people in positions of political influence, there's still going to be hate crimes. And the one, I mean, in Indonesia, the most easy target is sexual minorities. We use this for everything. Oh, like there's climate change, it's because of the gays. Like, okay. It's the easiest, you find the easiest target. So if you have political leaders in power who refuse to put in any legislation that is enforceable regarding hate crime of any kind, and then stipulate exactly the types of hate crimes that they're, it has to also be like legislated that you cannot discriminate against someone's sexual orientation, someone's religion, someone's language, someone's ethnicity. We have that customary. So it's not written down. They just say, we can't talk about Sarah, but we do talk about it all the time. So there's a lot of hypocrisy of that. And we can't really say, oh, that person is a villager and he's stupid and he doesn't know any better. Well, he doesn't know any better because when he goes to school, the school is not mandated to teach all of these things that says you can't talk shit about people. It doesn't matter. You don't agree with them, or you don't believe in the same thing they don't believe, or they don't look the way that you look, or they don't have the same family structure that your family structure is. Don't talk shit about them. That is not okay to talk shit about them. As long as they don't have that, then as long as we don't have that in governments, then it's not. And even then it has to be socialized, because you can have laws that are not implemented, because in other countries there are, in Western countries there are laws against them and they still have hate crime. So
okay, thank you, Soraya. Indira, you want to say something?
Sorry, about that. I think the issue is it's at school or in society in general. I mean, outside of parenting, because everybody is raised differently. It's the thing is, in Indonesia, at least what I know is from Indonesia, or maybe in other Asian countries, we were raised more towards not embarrassing. It's more towards, don't bring bad names. Like, don't do that. You're not supposed to talk about Sarah, about racism and it, but it's not about, it's more about the shame. No, it's not decent. It's not the decent, it's not something you should do. But we don't get taught on how not to be assholes. It's more like, you're focusing on the wrong thing. Not you, but I mean, like, you're teaching us the wrong things. You're supposed to teach us not to be assholes instead of not embarrassing everybody else.
Okay, thank you, Indira. It's interesting what Soraya said, how like they're blaming the gays for climate change. You can always just imagine, like, the gays are so hot.
I was just using that.
I know. I'm
it's
just
a dog
imagining what
whistle.
you
It's
said.
a dog
Like,
whistle because I work in front. But
Yeah,
it's not in Indonesia. It's like, oh, Indonesia's like, we're going down in GDP or whatever, and it's because of this. Or they want to cover up some corruption crime, and so they're gonna say, like, let's go and have a discussion in DPR about like sexual deviation, including pornography, when in fact we should be talking about very specific other things.
I like that point of view.
Sorry.
I'm just thinking, like, oh, the climate change are because of the gays. Like, the gays are so hot, they melt the polar ice caps and they're causing wildfire. They touch something, like, ooh, oh god, like that's actually pretty cool if that happens. Like, oh my god, the gays are really hot. Like, yeah, cool. Okay, they're really hot. Like, let's share that. And I don't know if the gays ruin the GDP, but I think the gays, I'm sorry, I think that maybe, like, I guess, what is the word? It's not bad, but I always see, like, the gays spend a lot more money than other people when buying stuff, especially when it comes to Halloween. I see them, like, so extravagant. They spend a lot more money than most people. I think they're
about spending.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's emotional, I think, because like for Halloween, imagine growing up your whole life repressed and not being able to be yourself. Halloween, say let's just say for Halloween, you got an excuse. You got an excuse to dress up, and they're going for it. And also, like, spending, it's compensating. I suspect it's compensating because I imagine it would be very stressful with everybody left and right talking about, yes, you need to get married and have children and Sakina Mawada and everything, and it's like, you need to do something. And I guess that's why they spend a lot. And plus, we don't know. This is just, I mean, conjecture, I guess, because we don't really, there's no data. I need a double blind study to really know about this.
There's actually a data, because one of my company, when we were doing digital marketing for lingerie and for, like, any of those sexy outfits, they found out that most of the people that buy it are from the LGBTQ. So they're like, I'm just gonna market it to them because they buy the most. And so the fact that the Soraya said they're building the case for the GDP downfall, I'm like, no, they spend a lot more money than probably most people here. And whatever the reason is, they're spending money. So they can't be blamed. In fact, they're probably putting us, like, somewhere higher.
Children to feed, because in general they don't have children to feed. And also, all the other traps.
Yeah.
And one thing about that, about marketing and LGBTQ, you need to realize that one of the reason a lot of brands are going, Pride Week, this is our Pride edition. It's more towards making profit than actually making a change. And it's
rainbow washing.
Rainbow washing.
Yes, rainbow washing.
Yeah, you're manipulating a minority.
Yeah.
So,
so this is our time. Thank you, everyone who has stayed to watch our I guess, rant as opposed to more of a discussion, but yes, ranting. Thank you, everyone, and thank you who submitted questions for us. This is the end of this. If you like, please watch our Michael Lace Indira's performance in the lessons. No spoiler, please, if you like it. And also, hopefully one day in our Golden Pickle Productions channel, we'll have the baby showers somewhere up there. Somewhere up there.
So
Coming
waiting for
soon.
that.
It's been
What-
coming soon
what-
for a while.
Hasn't it been a year? I feel like it's been a
Yes.
year. We're still waiting for
Yeah,
been
yes,
coming
it's been
soon for a year.
Yeah. It's okay. We're like a sitcom. You can be pregnant for years. Yeah. So there's no actual time limit, but hopefully sometime this year it'll be up there, and it'll be our very first original-ish musical in a sense. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Sorry, Michael, we already did the musical first and you were not involved.
You
So
can we could make a sequel and have like Michael be the baby.
Yeah. Looking for the father.
You'll need to watch it first before you realize what you just said.
I dig
See,
it.
I
dig
would
it.
have watched it if it's here.
It'll
I
be up
dig it, I
soon.
dig
It'll
it.
be up soon. Xuefen and Jacqy, we need to and Erik, we need to somehow ask the director can it be up soon? Maybe
you
the
found the
director is watching
director?
it too, so hopefully they respond can it be up soon? It's actually already on YouTube. I just need to share it somehow. So thank you everyone. Thank you Erik, Indira, Yanni, Xuefen, Soraya, Michael, Jacqueline for being the readers. Thank you Saldi to be the voice of the narrator. Hopefully you're watching it and you're enjoying it. Thank you everyone. Have a good day. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.